The auction that shocked collectors. In June 2025, excitement peaked when a single 4-foot-tall mint green Labubu doll fetched a staggering $170,000 at an auction in Beijing. Another 5-foot variant sold for over $130,000. All 48 Labubu dolls sold out, generating more than $518,000 in total revenue. This wasn't a fluke, it was emblematic of how Labubu had become more than a toy. Suddenly, these creatures were recognized as high-value designer collectibles, commanding prices that rivaled luxury art pieces and rare memorabilia. A $30,000 heist focused on plush monsters. Just weeks ago, in La Puente, California, masked thieves broke into a store around 1:30 a.m., making off with $30,000 worth of Labubu dolls, and nothing else. The dolls were clearly the target. Security footage confirmed it wasn't an opportunistic burglary, but rather a calculated strike driven by the toy's collectible and now criminal value. Border seizure, $500,000 of knockoffs. Meanwhile, at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, U.S. Customs and Border Protection intercepted some 11,000 counterfeit Labubu Labubu dolls, valued at over $500,000, disguised under the label LED bulb. These fakes, often made with bright but inaccurate features, not only infringed on intellectual property rights, they represented safety hazards due to poor construction and materials. UK and U.S. authorities warn of unsafe counterfeits. In the UK, trading standards teams seized over 230 fake Labubu dolls dubbed Lafufus during July and August 2025, many deemed unsafe with choking risks and hazardous materials. In Nottinghamshire, officials urged buyers to check for CE/UKCA marks, proper labeling, and buy only from reputable retailers to avoid cheap, dangerous counterfeits. In the U.S., the Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, issued a public warning in August 2025, advising collectors to avoid knockoffs that lacked proper holographic stickers, QR codes, or UV marks, common giveaways of authenticity.
Celebrity endorsements and marketing frenzy. None of this would have happened without the social media firestarter. In April 2024, Blackpink's Lisa posted a selfie with a Labubu blind box, sending collector demand into overdrive. Other stars, Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, and Dua Lipa, soon joined in, turning Labubu into a fashion statement and pop culture icon. PopMart, riding this wave, saw its profits surge nearly 400% in the first half of 2025, with revenue hitting $1.93 billion. Labubu alone became nearly a third of its total revenue. Consumerism, scarcity, and the blind box model. What's at the core of this obsession? Psychologists call it emotional spending and social status signaling. Labubu's blind box mechanism and limited editions fuel scarcity and collectability, making it not just a toy but a story people want to own. Arabian Business and similar outlets describe it as a perfect storm. Emotional ROI behavior, social media amplification, and musicians' fashion insider traction, all making Labubu a cultural and economic phenomenon. PopMart, riding this wave, saw its profits surge nearly 400% in the first half of 2025, with revenue hitting $1.93 billion. Labubu alone became nearly a third of its total revenue. Repair boom. Toy doctors on demand. With so much value in these plush toys, repairing damaged Labubus became a booming service. In Shanghai, a toy repair specialist, nicknamed Heartman, fixed 100 Labubus in 1 month, eventually expanding operations to handle the demand. Repairs cost around 10% of the original toy's price. Spiritual backlash in Pakistan. While many embraced Labubu for fashion and nostalgia, voices like Pakistani actress Mishi Khan pushed back, labeling the doll ugly and spiritually risky. She warned it could attract negative energy, dark forces, or jinns, noting its unsettling grin and popularity as a troubling trend. Conspiracies versus psychology.
Internet conspiracy theory lovers took it further, linking Labubu to voodoo, demon Pazuzu, and cursed behavior. One viral video made wild claims, but experts and psychologists consistently dismiss these as baseless urban myths. Attachments to dolls, they explain, are normal transitional object behavior. There's no evidence of supernatural traits. Fan frustrations and quality concerns. Even among legitimate buyers, quality control has stirred frustration. Reddit threads are full of complaints about poor stitching, misaligned faces, and inconsistent production. Sometimes fakes looked better than the real thing.
Imagine holding in your hand a quirky little creature with fuzzy fur, pointy ears, and an oddly mischievous grin. That's Labubu, a collectible elf-like monster who looks at once adorable and a bit sinister, and yet completely captivating. But Labubu didn't appear out of thin air. Its existence is the culmination of decades of toy design evolution, from playful plushes to tiny collectibles, art toys, and strategic surprises. Let's rewind and trace this lineage, exploring how each stage laid the groundwork for the rise of Labubu. We start in the 1980s with plush monsters who dared to be different. Think of My Pet Monster, blue and fuzzy with horns, fangs, even plastic shackles. It wasn't just a toy, it felt like rebellion wrapped in fluff, edgy yet endearing. That contrast between cute and creepy, soft and wild, My Pet Monster pioneered the vibe Labubu would later perfect. While in Europe and America, micropets roamed on the shelves, over in Japan, something smaller but no less impactful was brewing. Keshi, tiny rubber figurines often packaged as surprise freebies. These little eraser-style toys featured characters from universes like Ultraman or Kaiju monsters, and collectors chased them across cereal boxes, candy packs, blind grab bags, anything that held one of the miniature creatures. Their magic wasn't in grandeur, it was in scale, collection, and mystery. The idea that a tiny, mysterious figure could ignite curiosity and collectability planted an early seed for what would one day become known as the blind box craze. By the 1990s and early 2000s, a radical shift occurred as toys began to wear the mantle of art. The region of Hong Kong and Japan fueled the birth of the designer toy or art toy movement. Michael Lau, a Hong Kong artist, transformed the familiar into the extraordinary through his urban vinyl art, modifying G.I. Joe dolls into streetwear-clad characters that whispered stories of subculture, rebellion, and identity. He didn't just create toys, he brought self-expression to plastic and vinyl. Across the globe, Kid Robot in the United States launched vinyl platforms like the Dunny and Money, inviting artists to reimagine blank figures in their own styles. And Medicom's Bear Brick became a canvas for fashion, pop culture, and collaboration, bringing together artists, luxury brands, and collectibles under one bear-shaped roof. Collectors weren't just buying toys anymore, they were acquiring art pieces, culture icons, and personal statements. These art toys blurred the boundaries between adulthood and commerce. They taught us that toys could make statements, could be scarce, could be collectible. Enter Pop Mart, the artist-led Chinese company founded in 2010 who turned the designer toy into a blind box spectacle, propelling collectibles into trendy territory. By selling surprise figures sealed in boxes, marketed like high-end fashion drops, Pop Mart elevated toy buying into a performative ritual. By 2015, a character named Labubu had been sketched in Longevity by Hong Kong illustrator Casing Long, inspired by Nordic folklore and nestled into his picture book universe known as The Monsters. But it wasn't until 2019, when Pop Mart picked up Labubu, that she stepped onto the global stage, sealing herself in blind boxes, building anticipation, fostering fandom. Labubu's design encapsulates the lineage of its ancestors. She carries the rebellious charm of My Pet Monster, soft yet sharp, innocent yet wild. She fits into the collectible mystique of Keshi toys, appearing in random boxes that promise discovery.
And she embodies the artistry and emotional toys, complete with personality, narrative, and visual allure. She is both toy and art, comfort and thrill. This combination couldn't have come at a better time. Across the world, the kid-alt market, adults who buy toys for themselves, has surged. In 2024, adult consumers eclipsed children in toy spending in many markets. And by 2025, toy sales in the U.S. grew significantly in value and volume, led by adults aged 18 and up. Collectibles, nostalgia, and creative play drove this resurgence. People sought comfort, expression, and fun, and Labubu captured all three. Labubu's popularity became unstoppable after a celebrity moment. Blackpink's Lisa was spotted with a Labubu charm dangling from her designer bag, igniting a wildfire of demand across Asia and beyond. Suddenly, Labubu wasn't just a toy. She was fashion, she was identity, she was viral. In 2025, Pop Mart reaped immense rewards. Blind box sales boomed, plush toy revenue surged over 1,200%, and Pop Mart's total revenue more than doubled to over 13 billion yuan. CEO Wang Ning's net worth skyrocketed, making him one of China's youngest top billionaires. Collectors embraced Labubu not just as playthings, but as status symbols. At a Beijing auction, a 4-foot marine Labubu sold for over $170,000, setting records and underscoring the doll's symbolic and market value. Meanwhile, the trend raised real-world concerns. Counterfeit dolls known as Lafufus flooded markets, illicit imitations sometimes made of unsafe materials or wiring, prompting trading standards in Scotland to confiscate hundreds of fake dolls and warn consumers. Collectible culture also sparked psychological debates. Many saw how blind boxes and scarcity-driven models could foster compulsive buying, especially when marketing hinges on surprise, limited editions, and FOMO. Despite controversies, Labubu's aesthetic continues to resonate with the human need for comfort, play, and identity. She recalls Beanie Babies, Webkins, and other childhood icons while ushering in new rules: adult fandom, fashion convergence, digital shareability. Seen another way, Labubu's success is a masterclass in emotional design. Her appearance blends baby schema features, big eyes, chubby shape, with asymmetry or edge. That ugly cute mix triggers comfort and curiosity. Her consistent design allows her to morph into plush toys, keychains, giant figures, art pieces, always recognizable. She was never just a random monster. Labubu carries a story, part elf, part trickster, part fashion statement. Her iterations, like Macaron series, museum exclusives, one-piece crossovers, or Coca-Cola editions, each added narrative layers, new fandom corners, surprise, and collectability. Her journey, from a Nordic-inspired drawing to collectible icon, spans eras of toy culture: the rebellious plush, the miniature mystery, designer art toys, and immersive, narrative-driven collectibles. She's the sum of them all, animated into one fanged, furry package. Understanding the ancestors of Labubu reveals how toys evolve along with culture. Labubu didn't just rise, she inherited pulses going back decades. She reflects how we now crave toys that evoke emotion, art, surprise, and identity, no matter our age. As the toy world moves forward, the next wave will likely draw from this same blueprint: design that surprises, narrative that binds, and icons that blur lines between childhood, art, and adulthood. Labubu is both child and collector, plush and art, comfort and frenzy. A toy that ancient storytellers might have envied, now nestled in our hands, reminding us that play doesn't end with age, it evolves.